Today is February 7th. We have tons of different updates. Always, I'm going to start with what is going on in the news right now. I'm going to focus on some questions and concerns I've gotten specifically on my Parent Plus loan videos. Those that they're going to forgive loans based on hardship. There's going to be a hearing about that coming up soon. And Biden wants to provide specific relief to those who have experienced hardship. It's $12,000. There's immediate relief on the horizon if they enroll into the SAVE programs. But if you borrowed under $12,000, have been paying for a decade, you can get your debt forgiven. All right. So seventh, we have tons of different updates, but I want to focus on some questions and concerns I've gotten specifically on my Parent Plus loan video. So more of that to come just because there's so many questions about it. But first, as always, I'm going to start with what is going on in the news right now. So I know I posted on the last video that Biden has extended what is called the income-driven repayment waiver. For those who are unaware what that is, it is giving us until April 30th to go ahead and enroll into SAVE or an income-driven plan. Not everyone needs to enroll in SAVE, but an income-driven plan. And if you have FFEL loans or Perkins, to consolidate them and now qualify for additional payments that were not even made to count towards loan forgiveness. People have received up to 6 years of additional payments that count and get their loans forgiven. So a lot of people have gotten that additional forgiveness through the income-driven repayment waiver. So I first want to remind people of that, although that is not the latest news, but it's very, very important because there's a lot of FFEL, family educational loan borrowers out there that have not consolidated yet, and we only have until April 30th to do so. So that is the number one timeline to recall, okay? We also do have a timeline limit on the Parent Plus consolidation, which I'll talk about in a second, but let me go on with a few other news updates. Biden announced, and they're having a hearing, by the way, on February 22nd and 23rd about about hardship. Those that they're going to forgive loans based on hardship. There's going to be a hearing about that coming up soon. And Biden wants to provide specific relief to those who have experienced hardship and unable to pay their loans for various reasons, as well as have a growing balance since they last borrowed, okay? So he's going to have a very, very targeted relief program. I want to talk, though, about Biden's latest announcement that happened at the end of January that is still relevant now. Those who borrowed around $10,000 less on their undergrad loans can now get forgiveness if their balance has increased since they borrowed. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The news was released on January 12th. For those in repayment for a decade or more who initially borrowed under $12,000, not 10, I knew it was around 10, but it's $12,000. There's immediate relief on the horizon if they enroll into the SAVE program. So again, to be very clear, you have to enroll in the SAVE program to be eligible. And they're announcing a huge outreach to let borrowers know. Right now, there is about 7 million, a little under 7 million, who have enrolled in SAVE and more affordable payments. But if you borrowed under $12,000, have been paying for a decade, you can get your debt forgiven. All right. So that's really, really good news. But you must enroll in SAVE. So that's really big news. Enroll in SAVE as soon as possible. I've not seen specific deadlines of when to enroll in SAVE, but I just want to bring up one other thing about the SAVE program. If you borrowed under $12,000, your repayment length is 10 years. So if you've enrolled in SAVE and paid over 10 years, that's why he's doing this waive of discharge, because you should not be paying your loans for more than 10 years. So he's just honoring what the SAVE program is about. And there's been a lot of different issues with payment counts. Another advice I always have for borrowers is request from your servicer that your payments be counted if you're not on Mohila and have it visually represented how many payments you have counted. And the reason that's so important is because you want to reach your maximum repayment date and get the rest that you haven't paid forgiven. So if you don't even know what the servicer is counting as a payment or how many payments you've counted, then that will be an issue, right? So I recommend to everybody, whether they're on SAVE or not, to ask your servicer to count payments. We have a template letter that we've attached to other videos. We will include here as well, because that's the number one piece of information you should know about your student loans is when do you stop paying, right? Because some people have paid for decades or years and years and years and have no idea when the last payment is. I think it's a milestone that should be celebrated, right? So knowing it is a really, really good idea. So I wanted to include other news. Statement released January 19th by the administration. Nearly 44,000 individuals received their public service loan forgiveness. That's really good news. That's a recent update as well, because there's been so many people that got denied in the past. We're trying to qualify as a nation with PSLF more public servants, right, for public service loan forgiveness. So that's good news. So if those who are unsure how to qualify for public service loan forgiveness, it is additional paperwork in addition to the income-driven plans. If you need help, we're always here to help at app.myloansense.com. You can get started with a completely free plan. So people ask me all the time, I enrolled into Save or I enrolled into Pay As You Earn. Doesn't that get me loan forgiveness? Well, if you're trying to get public service loan forgiveness, you have additional paperwork you must submit, okay? It's called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness application. We help borrowers with that as well. If you have any issues or issues getting your employer to sign it or issues understanding how to fill it out, etc., right? We're always here. I can do a video about that if requested. Please do comment below if that is some content you'd like. Please do comment. I do read them. I do go through the content, and so does my team, so it helps us understand what information people want, okay? And then I want to talk about Biden. Okay, let's see what the latest news is. If there's any additional news, because I've tabulated a bunch of different, okay, so I reported to you all the latest round of forgiveness, which is for those who have borrowed under $12,000 and have paid for 10 years. Now we're going to come up with a hearing for the hardship forgiveness, and that should help the Biden administration devise a plan on how to roll out hardship forgiveness, which I will keep you all updated on, okay? Okay, now let me go to the content I promised, which is parents with Parent Plus loans. We've gotten a lot of questions. People coming to us and saying, oh my gosh, I applied for my first round of consolidation. I only got ICR, which is income contingency repayment. How do I now then consolidate once more and get into Save? Well, first and foremost, if you're only using an online application, it will automatically try to enroll people only into income contingency repayment if you had a Parent Plus loan. If you do a second consolidation, you can qualify for Save, but you cannot submit an online application. You must submit a paper application. If you need assistance with that, we are here to help. We've helped plenty of parents with Parent Plus double consolidation. We're here to do that. You have until, I have to check the exact day, but until July of 2025 to do the double loophole consolidation before it's no longer available. But because we are before April 30th of 2024, I recommend people do it before April 30th of 2024, because you want to get as many payments prior during the pandemic and before counted. And that may not be the case if you consolidate after April 30th. So even though there's this other timeline in 2025 to do the double consolidation, I want prior payments you have made to count towards your entire repayment length, and therefore recommend doing it even though there's a second date before April 30th of 2024. Okay, so that is an update about the Parent Plus loans. I also want to address another big question we've been answering a lot, which is if I consolidate my loans I've paid, let's say you have two groups of loans. One you've paid for 6 years and another you've paid for 4 years. If you consolidate them together, will that group of loans count for 6 years of payments or 4 years of payments? The answer is it will actually qualify to count towards 6 years of payment. So it's a great way if you went to undergrad and grad school and took off, let's say 2 to 3 years between. If you consolidate them together, then you would get your undergrad loans for a payment length of that's You would get, your graduate loans at the same payment length of your undergrad loans, which is an additional benefit of the income-driven repayment waiver program, which again, that is why we're telling people to get on this before April 30th of 2024. So I hope this education and news update has been really helpful. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and we cannot wait to come to you with more news. Again, we're always here. We're on standby to assist. MyLoanSense.com. Talk soon.